Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're here for the Week 6 waiver wire edition of the podcast. I don't think it's quite as exciting as last week's, but I think there's a couple players I really like on this list this week. Luckily, I already have one of them on my team, so I don't have to pick him up. But I'm going to tell you to pick him up this week because he's the guy to get. And maybe you're an Odell Beckham owner, need a wide receiver, going into bye weeks. There's all kinds of stuff that could be going on. So we'll get into that in just a second. Before we do that, make sure you check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet. We're on Instagram at Fantasy Football Prophet. The website's fantasyfootballprophet.com. You can go there, check out our waiver list, check out our rankings coming up this week and all that stuff. All right, Jeff, right into the episode. Do you have a number one waiver target this week, or should I just get into mine?
Go for it.
All right. It might not be everybody's. Maybe I'm a little biased because he's on my team, but it's definitely biased because it's probably maybe not the number one guy exactly. Number one guy, I'll say, would probably be Aaron Jones if he was out there. The problem is he's not really out there in a lot of leagues.
I already know who you're going to say.
So
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack is my guy.
Yep, yeah, that's a good one.
It would be Aaron Jones. Disclaimer, if Aaron Jones is out there in your league, spend all your money on him. Basically, I don't know if Jeff agrees with this, but I think he's taking over. At least it's going to be a 50-50 split with Montgomery. I almost think he's the guy. I really believe it. Maybe this is a little early to make that call, but he looked so good, better than Montgomery's ever looked. So spend all your money. I don't know. How much would you spend on Jones?
Ooh, my reservations about Jones is I really wonder if him and Montgomery are going to eat each other alive when he comes back in.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is so good around the red zone. He got in both games he played. So, it's hard to hold that against him. But you have to take, even having my reservations, you have to take a sizable chunk of what you have left and throw it at him. So if I had 200, there's not a whole... the waivers have been pretty dead compared to other years. I would say there's no way that you spend less than 120, say, out of 200. That's how much I think you should throw on him. I don't see too many other guys that have his upside.
No, I don't think there is. I think if he's there, you have to just basically go all in for him. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. There may be downplaying Montgomery because he has been good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into how good he looked last night. And
yeah, well, running backs are at they're at a premium as well. You have these guys going down. Devin Cook goes down. There's guys looking for talent, so
Yep.
they have to overpay for him. So you have to take that into account as well. And also why we love Marlon Mack right now. And he looked good last game.
Yep.
And why do you love him so much?
Just watching. It was basically watching him play. Actually sitting there watching him play and the moves he would make. He took like a negative 2-yard run into a 20-some yard touchdown. He looked... There's sometimes you watch a player play and you just think, okay, this guy is good. He's good. He's good. Creates something out of nothing. And that's what I saw Mack doing. Plus, I think the situation's going to just give him some opportunity there because Gore, we talk about Gore, how steady he is. He's been steady this year, but I think they need something a little more than steady at this point. Steady's not going to get it done with the current team they have going with no Andrew Luck. Maybe if they had Andrew Luck in there throwing the ball around, they could use a steady back in there. And I think you need somebody that's going to be more dynamic right now. I think that's Marlon Mack. And even when Luck comes back, I could see them. It's going to be 50-50 to me, at the very least, with Mack earning more time. I can see that happen. Just the guy looked good. Even when he was playing week 1. The moves he got to the end zone on a couple times. He didn't get, where he got the touchdown. They actually ruled him down on the one, and Pagano didn't change. He should have, and it was another touchdown. But even that run, the guy looks like a player. And sometimes it's just the eye test. It's just nothing but watching him play and seeing how good he looks. That just sells you on him. That's why Marlon Mack, to me, I think he's going to take over this backfield.
Yeah, they have to find – they're not a good team. They have to find who's going to take over for Gore when eventually the guy decides to retire or gets hurt. And Marlon Mack is obviously the guy they drafted in order to put him in that position. They're going to see more. The coach has already come out and said, hey, I think Marlon Mack deserves a larger share. So they're going to find out. literally the only knock I can put against him is he did it against San Francisco, but he didn't really play in the 2 games before that. So I think you have to get him now because I still think people are going to go after him. So you have to get him now because if he has one more game like this, you're going to have to stretch your budget in order to get him. So get him now, find out. And I think I highly doubt you have that much depth where Marlon Mack wouldn't be useful, especially in the bye week.
Yeah, I would spend a sizable chunk of my money right now on him. I really would, because you're getting into that point of the year where, to me, this is the golden part of the season for waiver wire pickups. This is it. Like right now, you get your big waiver wire pickups. After this, yeah, there'll be some here and there, but nobody that's going to maybe be a season type changer. And maybe Marlon Mack's not that. I don't know. He very well might not be that, but there's a chance he is. That he could overtake a backfield, and if he continues looking like he did last week or Sunday, if he gets that in a 15 to 20 touch kind of role, he's going to be every week starter for you.
Yeah. And time to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
How much money would you put on Marlon Mack? How much? First of all, let's compare him. Aaron Jones, how much would you put on him? And then how much would you put on Marlon Mack? Say $200. Obviously, if you have the number one waiver pick, you take these guys, no problem.
Well, if I'm at $200, let's see. Yeah, Jones is owned in 65%, so he doesn't make it. That's still, he's out there in enough leagues.
Yeah, enough.
200, even like 200, I'm going like 150. So I'm going about 75% of my budget.
Okay, wow.
If I have that.
Yep.
Obviously, don't have probably a full. And then I'm probably going 50%, honestly, for Marlon Mack this week. That might be crazy, and I'm going to be out there on Marlon Mack. I just really liked what I saw. And Frank Gore has to be done at some point, right? Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Keep banking on it, but it's been like 5 years.
I might be out there on Mac. I'm just going to, this is the guy I'm kind of banking a lot of things on right now. I would probably do it. From what I saw from him, 50%, because of this, maybe you miss out on a waiver wire or two coming up, but I think this is the one. Just put it in there. See if you can get him this week. If, you probably not starting him though next week, because he's not guaranteed. But with bye weeks and everything, shoot, maybe you do put him in a flex and just take a chance. I threw Wayne Gallman in my flex this week, so yeah, I'm not against it. But I would do it. I would go 50% and try to put him on my team and see what he becomes. So another guy. What about Wayne Gallman? That's actually another one we should bring up. He had a decent week. Yeah, he's owned in 26% of leagues. Yeah,
only 26. I'm actually really surprised at that. I think, especially after last week, he got another 11 attempts, 57 yards out of it. So, he did well with them. Yep. And then on top of that, you have your best offensive weapon, Odell Beckham, going down. What's not to like about the guy right now? I don't think he's quite as talented as maybe the other two guys we talked about.
No.
But I think he is a much needed improvement over the other running backs in that situation. And he hasn't shown me anything where I dislike him.
Yeah, I agree. And basically, don't be blinded by Darkwa's stats, but his yards might look better than Gallman's last. From Sunday, he would 69 yards off 9 carries, maybe in a touch, something like that. Gallman's better. Gallman's a better running back than Darkwa, and he just is. He's a better running back. And if the Giants really thought Darkwa was, even before his injury happened, they wouldn't have just gone right to Gallman after Darkwa's touchdown. It's just, you can sometimes, again, another thing, he's not an amazing running back. He's not a great running back, but I think he might be a good running back.
He might be efficient in that offense.
Yeah, I think he's good enough. And I wouldn't put as much on him, obviously. But if you're needy, you need a running back, throw him on your team. But here's the problem, and we talked about this last week. At Denver versus Seattle, bye week. And then even the Rams. I don't know. Rams have been up and down sometimes. So, but maybe that's on a good week for him. But you're basically getting him looking at week 10 at San Francisco. That's my problem with him. You're not really. It's going to be hard to play him these next 2 weeks, and then you can't play him obviously in his bye week, so you might not get him for a few weeks, and that's my hesitation on going to buy him right now.
Yeah, and he will take up a roster spot, and that's also probably why you won't have to pay a lot for him.
That's true.
And, really, if you look at this list, it's kind of like he's the third best upside guy in this running back list. So if you need running backs, he's definitely going to be on the short list. I think he should be owned in more than 27% of leagues. I don't know. We'll find out. Also, I'm not sure how they're going to react. They're probably going to be behind in these games, quite possibly. And I have no idea what's going to happen with the wide receiver game. So maybe he'll be more proficient in the passing game. He still has ability to actually score points. I don't want to completely take it away from him, even though they're playing good defenses, because I really think that they're just going to be slinging it and doing anything they can to get some yardage, because New York does not look really good right now, and they're in a bad spot with all their players.
All right, how about another running back, Matt Breida, San Francisco.
You know, it's an interesting one.
Yep.
Are you high on him or not?
Not really high on him. It's
not
more
really
of a, if you're a Hyde owner, you need to have him.
Okay, I would agree with that.
And I don't know. This is the weirdest situation for me. This whole Carlos Hyde thing has been so weird since the preseason. Okay, now I'm starting to think these preseason rumors, this talk, maybe it was real. Maybe there was more to it. We thought at the time it was getting way too much. There's way too much going on. So we started to lower him down. And then he starts the year and he looks great. And he's getting all of the carries. So we're like, okay, maybe that was just all nothing. And then this happens. And then week 5 happens. No injury that we know of from Hyde. It doesn't seem like there's an injury there. And basically he gets out-snapped by Breida this week. I don't have the exact snap numbers, but I think he did get out-snapped. Or if not, it's pretty much close. I think he had less carries, though. And Breida was much better. 49 yards off 10 carries, 22 yards, 3 catches. That's not a bad day. And Hyde had, 8 for 11, something like that?
It was bad. I mean, I think he had less than 2 points in an overtime game.
I'm confused on this one. We talked about it last night. I was confused then, and I have no clarification now. So I think that just means you get a flyer on Breida, though. That's what I think it means, because maybe this is that. But the problem is, I mean, do you think there's a chance that maybe they would just go away from Hyde? Because it is possible. There's something more there. There's something going on. I'm just so confused. I don't even know how to explain this on the show right now.
Yeah, I don't.
It's strange.
I highly doubt they would go away from him. But at the same time,
if they're losing, they can't win games, and they're not going to re-sign Hyde to a big deal. And maybe he's not in their future. Why not see what Breida is? And that could be what they're doing.
It might be. I mean, it really might be.
Maybe we should have seen a little bit more coming. Last week he did have 9 carries. He only had 16 yards of it, so it was just kind of didn't even register for us. And this week he only had 1 more carry than he did the week before. Just he actually looked good on those carries. So that's where maybe we should have. I mean, 1 week of 9 carries doesn't really tell you much, but I mean, Hyde, this is what he's done in the year. 9 carries, then he had 15. Week 3 had 25, then back down to 16 to 8. So maybe that 1 week is just an outlier. I don't know. I'm nervous about it if I'm a Hyde owner.
I was going to say, it's difficult to trust Hyde, especially with knowing that if it's not this, it's going to be injuries or something. I think this one was probably not the usual. I think that they're going to have to run him in order to be successful.
But maybe they don't care.
Maybe they don't. I mean, it's very possible.
And so, take a flyer on Breida. I would.
Yeah, especially if you have Hyde. There's no harm in that, definitely. And Breida, I don't think he's going to be.
He's
probably not going to be playable until Hyde goes down or you hear something else.
Yep.
But you might get him for an unbelievable price right now.
And some other guys we talked about last week, Alex Collins, he got less carries than Buck Allen. All of a sudden, Buck Allen's getting all the carries again. So Terrence West did go down with an injury, so it could make more room for Collins. But I don't think he's a great player, honestly. I think he's a good enough player, but he's not anything special, and that offense isn't really any good for the most part, even though they were better this week. So you can get him, but it's going to be hard to play him, especially behind Allen. Well, Elijah McGuire. Not like he had a good week, but Powell went down with an injury. Forte's still hurt. McGuire's going to get opportunity now, but he's playing New England this week. Might not be there, but he's worth a look on your bench, I think. He needs to be rostered, needs to be on somebody's bench. And that's what I've been doing in my leagues, and I think you should do, is use your bench, the end of your bench, for running back lottery tickets. That's how I've been doing it. And I have about 4 of them right now on my bench, and I think that's the way to go. Is throw these potential lottery tickets on the end of your bench, because who knows, one might hit, and all of a sudden you're in business. But I think McGuire could be a player to put there. It's only about opportunity, though, for me, because I'm not, again, sure how good he actually is. He's decent. But the problem is I thought the Jets were going to be terrible this year, and because of that, maybe they'd go to him. And while they're not any good, they still somehow have 3 wins. Maybe before Tate comes back, they want to use the veteran a little more because all of a sudden, hey, they're 3-2. They might actually think there's something there, which still, how are the Jets 3-2?
I don't know.
Does that make any sense? Because they're not any good. They're not good.
No, they're not good. I know. I mean, I give them credit. They're pulling out victories, but I think this is an early spike in a very quick spiral.
Yep. But just, again, throw him on your bench. Don't start him. See if there's something there, and maybe they go to him. So that's what I would do there. All right. Any other running backs that you see, Jeff? That's pretty. I mean,
there's
guys maybe to throw on your bench. But
yeah, there's one other one that if you're in need of just a legitimate point, guy that is going to get you between 5 and 10. Right now, that guy, and you won't have to spend a whole lot on him, but he is. I love how I just blanked on his name. I was just looking at Deion Lewis.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they use him in many different ways. He hasn't had a breakout game by any means, but Gillislee hasn't been able to get into the end zone. They're using him a little bit more. So I think he's a pretty safe one if you're just looking to insert a few points into your lineup. I would rather have one of the other guys that we talked about, but he's definitely on the list. Don't overlook him.
I actually did obviously we've all seen Deion Lewis play before, but I liked what I saw from him last week again. Just getting to see him play again made me realize, this guy's a pretty good player.
Yeah, so, he's looking better and better.
And you never know with New England, all of a sudden he might be featured. You really don't know. All right, how about wide receivers? Is there really anything out there that's honestly some of the lists? I'll just go off of some of the other lists we have from other fantasy football sites and stuff like that. This will show how weak it is this week. Number one wide receiver on a lot of lists is Mike Wallace. How are you feeling about that? No, he had a big week. Are you interested?
No, I mean, I'm personally not. I don't go after the. I mean, I've seen Mike Wallace so many times. I'm not interested in him. I would go another direction.
And he's over our threshold for our list, but it's just he's the guy thrown out there in a lot of lot of places. Because some of the others there's really maybe John Brown. I might still take a flyer on John Brown. It's just because I still think there's talent there, but he hasn't really done anything with it. And I'd rather use my bench spots for running back lottery tickets rather than wide receiver ones. But he got a touchdown this week. Maybe you'll get some more. And I see Jermaine Kearse on some of these lists. Jermaine Kearse. I'm not even interested. I'm not at all. Do you want Jermaine Kearse? Are you going to play him? Maybe you're more interested than I am, but I'm like zero interest.
No, I mean, I get where people are coming from on that one. But once again, no, I'm not. And I think that has to do with New York kind of overperforming right now. And he is kind of an up and down player a little bit. I would expect probably like four points out of the guy.
And then I say stay away from the Jacksonville receivers at this point because it's pretty clear to me the way Jacksonville wants to do things, and we talked about this early in the year. They want to run the ball and play defense, and that's all they want to do. I think last game, I think the stat was they ended the game once they had their last 18 plays. They had 18 plays in the fourth quarter. Every single one of them was a run. So Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, there's not going to be much value there. Then, what I'm kind of disappointed in? Zay Jones. I just want to bring him up for a second.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about him really, but with Jordan Matthews out this week, I started to think, okay, maybe this is the week for, Zay Jones. And again, nothing. And there's just nothing there. I'm disappointed in that one. You're not picking him up. He's only had 5 catches all year. Just if he's not doing it when Jordan Matthews is out, I mean, what is there? There's nothing there.
No, and he's another guy I would just say wrong about. I mean, he has all the opportunity in the world. The guy has good hands and just nothing.
It's just not there. It's just something that we thought there might be. I thought it was going to be more of a safer type value play with how many catches he got in college. Maybe he'd get, 6 catches for 60 yards and be that kind of guy, and that's not happened. Nelson Aguilar got another big touchdown, so he's at 3 on the year. He's become, I know his name's going to be brought up because he gets these touchdowns, but other than the touchdowns, he's not consistent enough for me to ever play. So I'm just going to say, you're thinking about him, I would stay away. I actually get questions once in a while about Nelson Aguilar and starting him or not, and I'm just going to always pretty much side against starting him. Yeah, he might get one big touchdown, and I'll look like an idiot for saying not to, but he's a worse version of the boomer bust players. So
Right.
He's going to stay away. I mean, other than that, I don't really know wide receiver. Maybe Josh Doxson. Again, he's a guy to look at. They looked at him more, and obviously he's only had 3 catches yet, so it's not much, but you started to see him a little bit more in the game plan. They had the bye week, so you kind of forgot about him last week. Maybe he does something against San Francisco. So,
yeah, I'm a big fan of Doxson. I think he will get involved. And actually, if I'm picking up a wide receiver this week, I'm picking someone up early or earlier than they should, and I'm seeing if they turn into anything. And I'm looking at the 2 big young wide receivers that have been hurt. I'm talking about Corey Davis, and I'm talking about Williams.
Yep.
And both of them should be coming back really soon. Williams should play this week.
Yep.
So if you grab him before anyone has ever seen him play, at least you can hold on to him and figure it out. I mean, might as well throw $2 at the guy and figure it out. I mean,
yeah, I don't even care if he's not going to play this week. There's rumors that he might, and then he plays Denver the next week. So your earliest you're going to ever put him in your lineup is week 8 against New England if he was to come back. I think it's worth it though, because this could be a player. This could be a guy. Any player that's drafted in the top 10 of the NFL draft is an extremely talented guy,
and you can get 2 of them.
Yes.
For nothing. And Corey Davis, Williams hasn't played yet, and he is a freak athlete, make no doubt. But Corey Davis, what I love about him, even though Tennessee is kind of in flux a little bit, but he played 2 games, right? He got hurt his second game, 1 catch for 4 yards. First game out the gate, 6 receptions for almost 70 yards.
Yep.
I mean, why not? And what's lovely about this, he plays, I mean, I don't know if he'll play next week, whatever, but the next 2 games, Indianapolis and at Cleveland. Then you have a bye. So if he plays, you're playing against a great matchup. And if he doesn't, I guarantee he plays after the bye week. And then you have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis. Not the best situations, but definitely places he can expose some of those CBs, which he's not going to draw the number 1.
Yep. All right, maybe a couple tight ends here. There's really not much, but Austin Seferian-Jenkins got a touchdown. He's gotten 5 catches, 4 catches, 6 catches. He's obviously involved a little bit. He plays New England this week. If you need a streaming tight end, he's not a bad option. I think we've always thought he's a talented player from back in Tampa days. He just never could get his head on right. Maybe he's starting to do that, so maybe look at him. People are going to be interested in Ed Dixon after that big game for the Panthers against Detroit there, 5 for 175. He did have 3 for 62 the week before since he's been the starter. Maybe. I'm not getting him, though. I mean, if I'm going to bind and I need a starting tight end, I would think about it, I guess. But what about you? Are you interested? Or maybe if Cam Newton continues to play well, you can throw to Dixon.
I mean, to tell you the truth, you could pretty much name any guy, and I'd be like, oh, he has a chance, because that's how, unbelievably crappy the tight end position has been.
It really is.
I personally would go a different route. I'm not a huge fan of him, but they have been playing really well. So I totally understand your logic in where you're going. It makes complete sense.
Well, I hope we hear some more good news on Travis Kelce and he can play next week. Because otherwise, I'm going to be in this situation. I'm going to have to find one of these guys. So, who would it be?
Oh man, that is rough.
Austin Hooper? I don't know. I'll wait and see. There's not many options there. All right, quarterback. Let's just go over some quarterbacks quick. If Alex Smith is out there in their league, go pick him up. I think he's for real. I think Alex Smith is for real. He's owned in 75% of the league, so he's probably not out there. But if he is, pick him up and go get him, because I really do think the guy's for real. If anybody dropped Derek Carr, I might think about getting him too if you're in a bad quarterback situation and wait a couple weeks. But no rush on it. But then let's see here. Is there anybody that's going to stand out for you this week? Let's see some matchups here. Nothing too special. You want Joe Flacco against the Bears? I don't.
No.
I don't want Joe Flacco against anybody. The streaming options aren't great this week for me. There's nothing to me.
No, I'm trying to find one.
Just maybe Sam Bradford against Green Bay. Maybe after another week back, he'll be a little better. I mean, we're recording this actually during the Monday Night Football game, so the game is right now in the second half, and he was only 5'11", and I don't even know if he's still playing anymore at this point. I think he might have been knocked back out of the game. So I don't know if he's going to be back next week. What's going on? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just going to try to see what's going on. Yeah, Case Keenum's in the game for Bradford now. So, man, he's not healthy. Maybe he won't be the guy. So skip that one. I'm not going to trust it.
Man,
but
yeah.
That's the problem, though. That you'd almost be thinking of somebody like him. I hate that I keep seeing Jay Cutler's name with decent matchups, but no, please don't buy into it. Stay away from Cutler. Don't even consider him. What he's done nothing. He's nothing better than a 15-point game. So I don't care if his matchups are okay. Stay as far away as you possibly can from Jay Cutler. But this is a tough week if you're streaming quarterbacks. Really, Jeff, do you see anything that really is like, okay, I have to do that? Maybe if Marcus Mariota was dropped and he plays this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't see anything that fits our below 50%.
No.
It's really not. I mean, the only people... No, I mean, there's just no one.
If Mariota was dropped, get him if he plays against the Colts.
Yeah.
If Deshaun Watson's out there for some reason yet, he plays Cleveland this week. If he's still out there in your league and you need... Okay, Jeff, this is the situation. Deshaun Watson still somehow remains on your waivers. And you need a quarterback. All right, what are you doing for him? This is going to break every rule that we can go for him. Because he had all those touchdowns, but a lot of it was in garbage time trying to catch up.
Deshaun?
Yeah. Watson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, compared
though,
to everyone else, I mean, 86% of the leagues he's owned in already.
He's in most. He's going to be almost out there. But if for some reason he was out there.
Let's be honest. J.J. Watt went down with a broken leg. They were already behind in a lot of these games. I don't think that's going to change. This guy's going to have a lot of opportunity to score touchdowns. Will he score 5 every time? No, not at all. I mean, it wasn't that he looked overly good. You had 5 touchdowns with 260 yards throwing. But the guy will score you points. He's ranked 7th overall at QB. I mean, you can't deny what he's been able to do fantasy-wise. And now he's going against Cleveland. Yeah, sign me up, but he's not available anymore.
Phillip Rivers might be. Maybe he's the play if he's out there. I was going to say,
Phillip Rivers, only 63%.
Against Oakland, who's been...
And he had one bad game, but that's it.
And Oakland hasn't been good against quarterbacks right now, really, this year. So... Yeah, if Rivers is out there and you need a streamer, that's a solid option. And then probably my next one it's probably Carson Palmer. And, we've been down on Palmer. We say that, but week 1 he had 10 points. That was bad. But since then, 17.9, 25.7, 18.4, 17.6. You'll take that on a streaming week as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he better than Russell Wilson did. And much better than Ben Roethlisberger.
Think about that. If you're not going above him, if you're going below, the only people you're possibly looking at like
Trevor Siemian against the Giants. Oh my God,
Jared Goff, who has been absolutely terrible the last few games.
But Jacksonville's defense has been too good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not playing Goff in the next.
Yeah, no, there's not. Well, they're
ever. But
there's not a good option out there. Maybe Jacoby Brissett because the Titans have just given up 40 plus points in back-to-back weeks to quarterbacks, or not back-to-back weeks, but in week 3 and 4 they did.
Yeah.
So it's not a good week for streamers. Hopefully Rivers is out there. I think that's the play. Maybe you're really lucky and Watson's out there, but I doubt it. Or Mariota if he was dropped. So there's some, but it's a tough one. It's a tough week. So maybe go safe and get some points and call it a week.
Yeah, I mean that's your best option. Honestly.
And what's your best kicker option for the week?
Yeah, exactly. Let me see who's not owned.
No, I'm just kidding. This is who cares. Kicker, I hate kicker. I hate the kicker. Eliminate the kicker position. I'm almost ready to get rid of it in leagues. I'm sick of it. Maybe because I get 15 one week and 3 the next. It's terrible. But I think that does it for waivers. So hopefully you pick up Marlon Mack. And once you do, remember who told you. It was Craig. Jeff wasn't as big on it. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.